The following chapter of Let's Get Deeper was released on the GR8 M8S Podcast on January 22nd, 2019. Welcome back to the summer season of GR8 M8S Podcast. If this is the first time you're listening to us, we are just a bunch of young Australians who usually talk about our lives here in Australia, pop culture and the internet. Sometimes we answer questions if you guys send them to us. And I think that's pretty much it. And like other random stuff that we find. Going through Twitter and all that fun stuff. But this is our summer season, so we do things a little bit differently. So, our release schedule is a little bit different, the content's a little bit different, and we get to experiment with fun stuff like this mini-series that I've got going, which is gonna introduce a little bit more, of each one of us to you guys, the audience. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what everyone's answers will be, and then what my thoughts are at the end. Stay tuned till the end of this mini series to find out what I think. Because you know, I won't spoil it anymore. I'm Josh, and with me on today's episode, I've got Anastasia.
Oh, I'll pick that one.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a long while, but for the audience, Anastasia, could you give them a little TLDR about yourself?
Well, I'm not all that interesting these days.
Oh, come on.
So I am studying a Bachelor of Fine Arts at the National Institute of Dramatic Arts, which is a fairly, to put it lightly, wanky institute. And I am there for many hours. Many hours.
Oh, so many.
So many. And that is pretty much my life.
Yeah. Given how this whole year has gone, like the past year has gone, yeah, that neither has taken your soul.
Yeah. It has somehow been simultaneously the longest year of my life and the shortest year of my life, because I don't know, like in terms of things that happened at uni.
Yeah,
I was like, I feel like that happened 3 years ago. But in terms of like what happened in real life, like my mum got engaged 6 months ago. It feels like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like,
oh dear.
It's such a weird like time parallax that I've just entered into.
Oh boy. So yeah, I've given Anastasia a few questions. Some of these will be similar to what the other GR8 M8S will be answering in their own episodes. So I guess what I'll start off with is what are your top 5 musicals? Because as we know, why else would you be at NIDA studying a BFA if it isn't for musicals?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
See, when you ask me, I've had people be like, so what is your favourite musical? It is impossible to say things off the top of my head like that, because it is such a broad thing. Because you talk about modern musicals that are very relevant, But then you talk about, like, the golden age of musicals, which I absolutely adore, where it's like everybody is in freaking ball gowns and walking around in, singing very operatic. And,
yeah.
And I love that era. So it's a weird, it's such a weirdly specific question for such a broad topic that spans almost 100 years. So it's really got to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I could never put, like, they're all equal in my mind.
Okay.
You can't like rank anything.
Yeah.
So let's start with The King and I, which is King and I, which is a highly problematic musical.
Yes.
In terms of it being revisited today. But the music is, like, it's one of those musicals where I have a connection with it, like, with my family. Like, it is, I think, one of my grandmother's favorite musicals. Just, like, the music is so fantastic. It's a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, and it's though it does not age well at all. Let's not no racial stereotyping here.
Let's also try not to dive into the film, because Yul Brynner is so white and had to yellow himself up for that's a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah, that's it, and that's in my top 5. And I mean, I feel like I can't go past a more recent one, which is Dear Evan Hansen. Like, it's impossible to go past. Like, it fucking overtook the world, too. And it was... Though the music is so very simple, like, what Benjamin Patrick wrote is actually very simple harmonies and progressions. But it tells such an amazing story. And although it has been, the nerdy white boy on the stage for quite some time, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it was the national tour, had just had their new Evan Hansen, who is a person of colour, which is, like, absolutely fantastic. That role can be transcended from what we thought it was.
Yeah.
Those preconceived conceptions. What's that? 2? God damn it. I really should have thought about this more. God damn it. Alright, I'm gonna throw out another fucking throwaway, which is, Wicked.
Oh, yeah.
Wicked is just... Though it was sort of ruined by, like, community theatre, the original score is absolutely fantastic. Again, Stephen Sondheim, we're gonna go with Merrily We Roll Along. That is, I saw it in a community theatre production, and it was actually one of my favourite pieces of theatre I saw this year. Because it's an amazing... It's such an interesting story that is told in reverse. So you never know whose side you're supposed to be on, because you start with, like, the worst aspects of the person and then trail back, which makes for, like, like, far more powerful story than if it was told normally. How many? Are we up to 4 now?
Yes. Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna throw... It's one of my last ones. Yeah, why the fuck not? Fucking Star Kid, Harry Potter musical.
Oh, the original.
The original, because I don't think I would be who I am without having seen that fucking show. It's one of those things where you go, those kids were in university, and it wasn't something that it wasn't like a role they were given, it wasn't anything to do with the actual education system. They did it by themselves. They wrote the play, they performed in it, and it became this huge community, which is something that is so incredibly inspirational. Yeah, and I believe it made me want to work in theatre, watching that shitty YouTube video.
Oh,
what
dear.
poor quality those cameras were.
Oh my goodness. Oh. And it's going to be 10 years next year. That is how long it's been since AVPM.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And if you see, I follow them quite closely. And you look at AJ Holmes, who was just in the Australian production of The Book of Mormon, who did an amazing job. He was in the Broadway cast of Bubble Boy, and he's, running around New York being absolutely incredible. The Tin Can Bros, which is Joe Richter and Corey Lebowitz and Brian Rosenthal, have what is like a fairly successful YouTube and short film career. And like they're all doing stuff that they love. They're all still doing theatre. Like they literally just released a new Star Kid musical, and it's amazing that they're still all doing stuff. I think I've ranted about musicals long enough.
No, but I mean, it's like, it is a big part of who you are, and I guess if you are given the opportunity to be involved in one of those 5, which one would it be?
Oh. I already forgot which ones I listed off.
So you did Dear Evan Hansen, Wicked, Merrily We Roll Along, AVPM, or King and I.
Yeah.
Which one of those 5,
Look,
if you were given the opportunity?
In terms of being... Because Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen is still running on Broadway. So...
But, if you could travel back in time and, be involved in AVPM.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I don't know about that one. But being part of a legendary production like Wicked, like to say I worked on Wicked like during these few months, is something to be so like proud of. The same thing with Dear Evan Hansen, such a huge has made such a huge change in the theatre, in musicals in general. To be a part of that in any way would be amazing. But I am a big believer that we need more. We don't do Sondheim in Australia. In big main stages. There's, community theatre. But if I could bring Merrily We Roll Along to like one of our big theatres, it would be absolutely incredible. Or AVPM. I feel like making a high budget version of AVPM would ruin.
Do you mean? Oh yeah, it would, wouldn't it? It would ruin the aesthetic that we've come to love, because you wouldn't get, with a high budget version, you wouldn't get two-person Quirrell Voldemort. And God bless.
You wouldn't get that amazing physical theatre.
No, you wouldn't. And you wouldn't get the bromance that is almost a romance. God. Yeah. AVPM was a thing that I guess, and it got such a big Tumblr following through that as well. Yeah. So, rip Tumblr, as we speak.
What a mess that is.
Yeah, it literally is a hot mess. But yeah,
it will never be the same, Tumblr.
Oh, this too shall pass. I'm one of the old people, like, I've been through, because I was chatting to, I went through Super Hulock, that was a time, went through the first phase of, like, all this weird new, the changes between old Tumblr and then after Yahoo bought it. What else did I go through? DashCon. I was on during DashCon, and that was a thing. That was a time.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm one of the old folks on Tumblr.
I never actually got deep into Tumblr. I got deep into Instagram fandoms, which I think was far more dangerous, actually.
Yeah, probably. But yeah,
I just
Tumblr...
didn't like the platform layout as much.
True. Fair enough. But yeah.
But I do respect Tumblr. I do have a respect for you guys.
Dear. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Deviant art.
Oh. Deviant art for days. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What were those poems that Bin did?
Those memories. Maybe we should have a summer episode where it's just Bin and his poem collection. Maybe. Maybe we can do that. Or what we'll do is we'll get his poems.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind reading some.
We'll read them. Should we read them deadpan or overly enthusiastic?
I think we read them how they're intended to be read. Maybe we can get some thoughtful music going in the background.
Lo-fi. I love discussing summer content on other summer episodes. But anyway, moving on.
You figure out the timeline.
Yeah, sure. You, the audience, try and figure out how we're sorting this out. I guess the next question is, what drives you and like, this is sort of what makes you get up and keep going day to day? That sort of motivation.
Look, at the moment, not a lot.
Fair enough.
I have had what has been a very horrible last couple of weeks, mainly because I've been working with people who didn't respect me, didn't understand why I was there, which has made me rethink a lot of things. To the point where I said to my tutors, I don't want to come back. But I still kept going back. And it's because I have made such huge relationships at uni that to not go back day to day feels like abandoning them. Like, we have all grown together so much this year, and to just break those relationships off so suddenly is more harmful than it is anything. But also, like, I have a huge love for theatre. I have, like, to be around so many creative people every day is one of the most rewarding things to see. Like, you walk into a workshop in the morning and then walk back in at the end of the day and they've made these huge mechanical wings. Like, or you've made an entire fake kangaroo out of wallaby hide because it's cheaper than kangaroo hide. Like, just shit like that is so incredible. And I love the environment that I'm in. Sometimes when I don't want to kill everybody.
Fair enough. And I mean, like, you know, I guess for context for the listeners, because we have group chat, it's interesting to see what Anastasia DMs us. Like, ever so often we get the random, like, I just want to kill someone today.
It's usually It's usually murder.
Of some kind. And I guess for context as well, because a lot of people will know that given the background that I have, it is tricky to therapize people that you've come to know, but yeah,
when all they want to do is murder.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, I have to be the dad, and like, ethically I don't therapize. Like, you and like all of you guys have had at one stage like asked me for stuff, but yeah, I don't do that. It's just like, go see a therapist in person.
Yeah, I vaguely remember me asking
I vaguely
you.
And I vaguely remember telling
you.
You
were like, I'm not going to tell you. And I was like, fair enough.
No, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go and visit someone in person yourself. Because, yeah, I just feel like it's too much of a, boundary that I don't want to cross. Given how I've come to know you guys for
but also
the
like,
past.
would help with murder, right?
I can't answer that question. But yeah, I guess it's all very interesting. And I like, everyone's motivation is different, and I won't spoil it because I will get into how I've interpreted all these answers on my episode. So, audience, you're just gonna have to listen to all of these, and then listen to mine, because that way you'll get
next week.
Oh well, who knows? Honestly, how I'm gonna arrange this. You'll figure out the timeline. Oh dear.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out the timeline.
I think it'll be pretty easy to figure out. I'd hope so. I'd hope so. There are additional questions that I want to ask.
I'm scared about the additional questions.
Given your love for theatre, is there, if I made you choose between Broadway and London's West End, which one would you choose? If money was no object in terms of travelling and settling down, which one would you choose?
Look, in theory, London is just generally easier because we're still a colony. And it is actually just a nicer environment. The theatres are bigger, but you don't get the same sort of shows that run through there. Broadway and off-Broadway are so experimental, and the new work that comes out of there is incredible. As well as the old work that just, has been running for, like many years. And yeah, there's stuff you see on Broadway that you will never see anywhere else in the world. But there is stuff on West End that you will see constantly.
Yeah.
So it's really a question of, do you choose like the comfort of West End, the stability really, and you see shows every now and then that originate on the West End, but nothing that makes as big of a deal as if it opens on Broadway. Yeah, and to be part of that community is something that will absolutely change your life. But also, fuck, those theatres are tiny. They're tiny, and everything is just, like, run down. There is no money anywhere. But it's about those relationships you build along the way, too. There's also just more people, generally, in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. What else? What else is there? Because I know there's only 2 questions left that I've given you. I
mean, I can only talk about musicals for so long before you just fucking clock out.
Oh dear, what were the? Because I remember when you recommended. What did you recommend to me? You recommended to me Dear Evan Hansen. You also recommended to me
Be More Chill.
Yes, Be More Chill,
which is absolutely incredible as well.
And I love the fact that it's actually come back, and it's on Broadway now? It is now on Broadway, right?
Yep. It ran off Broadway. It gained a huge cult following. And then they managed to move it to Broadway.
Yeah.
And it is... I feel like Be More Chill probably should have been in my top 5 as well. Because it's...
I mean, you know, people have cheated on their version of that question, so I don't mind.
Special mention.
If you sneak in Be More Chill.
Be More Chill is one of those musicals that is unconventional in one of the best ways possible. And, like, Michael in the Bathroom, which is like...
Oh my god.
Like the fucking anthem. Like, it is just something you can just scream, and it is fantastic.
I'm so glad that they're moving to Broadway.
To be able to garner that bigger audience is going to be really good.
Oh my god! And you know, and the fact that it was off for the musical itself was off for 3 years.
I think
2 years.
I think it was off Broadway, and then they stopped, and then they brought it back with
Will Rowland.
And then they managed to transfer it
onto Broadway.
I also realised I forgot to mention Anastasia.
Because it's your namesake? Because Derek Cleaner? Or because Cody Simpson?
What the fuck Cody Simpson's doing on Broadway? I have no idea. It's so
Don't
weird.
Worry, I'm just as confused as you are.
It's so weird.
How'd he get there is the first question.
I don't know. No, but the music from that show is so nostalgic to me. But it's also just... I don't know. Oh, also Derek Cleaner.
And it's a really great segue because it moves into Unbreakable. The fact that I think I saw Derek Cleaner on Unbreakable before you mentioned that he was in the production of Anastasia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, ah.
Because he was also in Dogfight, which was Benj and Pasik's first big hit before Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan? Okay.
Which that initially put him on the map. Yeah, but he had a weird buzz cut during that show, and it wasn't a good look for him.
Let me Google that quickly.
Because he's like he's being shipped off to the army.
Okay.
Which makes sense, but it does not work for him.
Oh no. No. Sorry, yeah, no, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work because the light shines straight through the hair and reflects off his scalp, so he actually looks bald. Oh dear. Derek, why'd they do this to you? Why? Why? Also, I didn't realize he had a sibling, the younger sibling. Was it the younger sibling that Yeah. That was an interesting, like, accidental find that I was like, I was not expecting this.
Yeah, he's also up and coming in the
theater, right? He's also doing theater, right?
He's also doing what, sorry?
He's also doing theater.
Yeah, he's a singing boy.
They must come from a family. They're all singing boys.
A family of singing boys.
Of just boys. All singers.
Boys with an I.
Yes, BOIS. Gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
Yes. I love how when I Google Derek Cleaner brother, the first photo that comes up is Derek Cleaner and Casey Cott. Let me show you this image because it's like, what?
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, no, I'll let me upload it here.
There it is.
There it is. It's just like, I mean...
Sure.
Sure, But no.
They just have different face shapes.
They really do. And different skin tone.
But the teeth. It's the teeth, I think.
Yes, it's the teeth. Imagine if you could tell that people were related because they're teeth.
Because of their teeth.
Imagine that's the only way you were able to tell that people were related to one another. Was because of their teeth. That'd be the weirdest. You wouldn't want braces because then you'd...
You wouldn't be able to tell you're related.
Yes. Oh my. Now. There's gonna be a little bit of reflecting.
Oh no.
Because, people like to reflect sometimes. So if there's something you would want to say to your younger self, and younger self can be 2017 self, kid self, or I guess if you didn't want to say it to your younger self, but if you wanted to say it to someone who was in kind of your situation, what would you say to them?
It's very much a thing of, like... It's that generic thing of, like, do the things that you enjoy while you have the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, high school was a bad time for me, but I didn't realize it until I actually left. And if I had taken the time to do more of the things that I enjoyed,
mm-hmm.
it would have made for a better experience overall.
Mm.
And I think I realized that. I realized that too late. Yeah. I don't know, because I'm still, I'm only in my first year of university. There's still a shitload of stuff to come, and I'm still worried about the future. So it's not like I'm in a position of comfort to be like, it'll be okay, because it's currently not okay. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a thing of like, it's okay to not be okay, but make sure you're surrounded by the people that care about you the most.
Mm-hmm.
Find that group of people, which just so happens to be a group of people you met on the internet through a weird podcast.
And yeah, I guess because you were the only... Because when we started this 18 months ago,
Jesus.
You were halfway through year 12?
Yeah, I had just turned 18.
Mm.
I remember joining the We Stayed Late Slack.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a couple of weeks before I turned 18.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to think about that it was 18 months ago.
Yeah. That was look how far we've come. But yeah, I guess it was interesting to see you go through your final year of high school, given, I guess, particularly for me, because I am so much older than you. When I graduated high school, you would have been too young. Because I would have too young
maths.
because I graduated in 2009, which is yeah. The age difference and like all of that is just so interesting to sort of see you go through it, and and to see how you've gone through this first year of uni has been interesting.
Especially, it was very funny because you guys all saw my transition from high school to uni. Where I used to say how my entire day went before I started uni, and then at uni I have no time.
You have no time,
and it's like, oh, sorry guys, what's happening?
You're so out of it.
What's Brendan doing now?
Yeah, that is legitimately what you say on a group chat. But yeah, it is interesting to have seen that transition, and so far this year, how much has changed, and how you feel about uni. It's been interesting. It's been a time.
It's been a time.
It's been a time, and that's what a lot of what I've been saying, because I'm not gonna spoil it until my episode. So I guess from that, do you have any goals for 2019? And this, we're obviously pre-recording this well in advance of 2019.
Well in advance? So, I'm not sure.
Timeline.
Timeline.
Yeah. But, this is going to be just like a little time capsule, what you think you might want to achieve next year. It doesn't have to be like absurdly amazing or, big or small. It doesn't matter. It's a goal.
Yeah, look, it's been a rough year for me, especially mentally, and that's something I want to work on, is my overall mental health, which has affected my physical health. Yeah, because I am a stubborn son of a bitch. And yeah, so it's just like, just go and do something about it, you fuckwit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, take more time. Think less about what others think of you, which is, fucking generic as, but I care far too much what people think of me.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I get feedback on myself and I'm like, oh wow, I fucking hate myself because of the things you just pointed out. When it's like, no, that's a few people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to think about, it's the most important thing is how you view yourself. So, get into. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm gonna work on me next year.
You're gonna try to be your best self?
I'm gonna try and find myself.
Oh boy. Oh, that like, there's so many connotations that can be drawn out of those two words. That is just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I just like...
Met with an exasperated sigh.
You know it. Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Of course not. Oh boy. But yeah, fair enough. And as I've said before, like, the piece of advice that I tell every one of my kids basically is, if you need help, go see someone. Like, legitimately, go see someone.
Is this a fucking mental health PSA? This is what this has turned into.
There's a running theme that's emerged throughout.
It's just PSAs.
Legitimately, this podcast has turned into, the whole podcast in general has turned into PSAs. Like, if you need to go see someone, make time to go see someone.
Yeah, don't be a stubborn son of a bitch like I am.
Yeah, please don't.
It helps no one.
Yeah.
There is something I wanted to add. I just thought of it in terms of telling my younger self stuff. Like, this year I have discovered that I am asexual, which is something I thought for a very long, I didn't know existed, and just generally thought that I wasn't right, which is not a good way to go through high school, especially. And just for me to have had that knowledge that there is a term, there are other people that experience the same thing. Being asexual is such a, and it's such a, not taboo, but it just isn't talked about, which is greatly disappointing because, I, like many others, grew up not understanding what I was feeling. And that, if I'd had some sort of experience to that, I think I would have benefited from it greatly instead of just feeling off.
Fair enough, yeah. And I guess, because because this all came about through, because we talk about, and this podcast has grown very queer over the last...
So very queer.
Oh, we are very queer. If you go through, legitimately, look at 2017, the season. There are many
instances where I call myself straight, which I do not identify with anymore.
But if you look at the content that we were discussing, for most of 2017 was the whole postal survey.
Yeah.
And moving on from that, through season 2, 2018, leaned straight into we leaned real hard into 2018.
I'm gonna be real sad when 2018's over.
I mean,
the pun just doesn't work as well with 2019.
2019, huh? We'll workshop that. We'll workshop that. And see what kind of yeah. But yeah, it all came about through, I guess, because I sort of was also going through that entire journey too. And we're all, I guess, the running joke is there are plenty of canonically straight boys on this podcast. And that's the entire fun of it, is that we were able to lean into that, and I guess we are incredibly open about talking about all of this on group chat and on the podcast too.
Yeah, that is definitely a benefit of having met through the internet, is that we just don't feel the need to not hide anything from each other. Like, there is no reason for us to just be like, blah, here's all of everything.
Yeah. So we're almost at the end. There are very few curveball questions left. So why did you say yes to doing this podcast?
To doing the podcast?
To doing Great Mates?
Wow. So when did we start this? July?
This premiered in July, but we started we started organizing all of this stuff, I think, in June. So yeah, it would have been 18. Yeah, it's been a time, 18 months.
So what? I was in my final months of high school.
You were final semester?
Yeah, it would have been final. Yeah. I didn't have a supportive friend group. I was not, as stressed as you are about your finals.
Yeah.
And we heavily enjoyed. We stayed late. Greatly missed SourceFed. Joined the We Stayed Late Slack. And met with like-minded people. And SourceFed had such a small community, especially in Australia. So to meet people online that not only loved SourceFed but also followed Star and Spencer and Luis onto this other platform I didn't believe that there were as many of us as there were. And I don't know, creating stuff is something I never thought I'd be doing. I mean, it is the laziest way to create stuff, is just by talking about yourself for hours on end.
Yeah.
But more than anything, it's how we all bonded and met each other, was by talking to each other for hours over Discord.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I guess, it's led to us meeting in person. Like,
Yeah, no, I will always cherish having you guys.
Oh.
Well, yeah, because when I finished high school, I had nothing left. Except this community that we'd built. And I will always be thankful that there were people there. And that hopefully we will all still be there for each other in the years to come.
God.
Can't get rid of us, Josh. We're all coming to the wedding.
What? Is this your wishful thinking coming through?
You fucking bet.
Oh, there are so many things that I wish we could... Actually, no. I actually don't want to talk about on podcasts because reasons. But Anastasia and I do DM quite a lot. But we haven't, obviously, because, she's working on projects and stuff. But we have been, and it's been, oh boy. Oh dear. You shouldn't say things because they might come true.
That's
you
what
really
wishful
shouldn't.
thinking is. You
really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But I'm not completely opposed to that. There's probably also there is actually another question. So, for people that listen to the season 2 episode called Happy Birthday Daddy, at the very end of that, and if you haven't gone and listened to it, go and find it and then listen to the last 10-ish minutes.
It's a good episode, guys.
So each one of the kids recorded their own birthday greeting in secret. And then I came to find out that Anastasia was the one that actually suggested it. So why?
Wasn't me that suggested it?
I believe it came out to be that you made a separate group chat.
Oof, I don't want to be taking credit for this because I don't think it was me. Was it me?
I have a feeling it was you that decided that, because, if I recall, because I don't have my birthday publicly available on a lot of platforms, people obviously, those people that actually know when my birthday is will obviously say happy birthday, but those that don't really know just don't really DM me or post on my timeline or whatever. So it was, apparently you did. So if you wanted to, go ahead and take credit for it, because I'm pretty sure that's what I remember seeing.
Hold on, I'm going back through messages.
Oh, yeah, have fun doing that.
Yeah, because, I mean, without you, we wouldn't have this fucking podcast. You're the one that suggested it to us. And, you've helped every single one of us with our issues. And like we were talking before we started recording, you do listen. You're a great listener. And that's really all you can ask.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I did create the group.
See? Oh dear.
So I created the group, but it was Jema that suggested the recording of separate clips.
I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, I did think it was important that we needed to do something.
Oh boy. And then, the funny thing was, I had already finished editing the episode. It was all good to go. I think I did publish it up on Wooshka already. Like it was just sitting there waiting. It was scheduled to be published.
I was like,
and then Bin was like, "Oh, you should check the G Drive. Have you finished the episode?" It's like, "Yeah." Oh, then he goes, "Oh, yeah, you should probably check G Drive. There's additional stuff." And then I go in and I'm like, go through, download, pull down all the audio. I'm like, "What's this bullshit?" And then I watched through all of it, and then yours was a video. if I recall, you were walking through a McDonald's.
That is correct.
That hashtag Macca's life.
Because
I'm surprised you haven't been spawned.
9 till 11 days, and that was the only time I had to record this message for you.
Walking outside of Macca's, classic. But yeah, and then I was like, you motherfuckers, because where was I? Because I was at the cafe that I always am at while I'm at uni. I'm like, you motherfuckers trying to make me cry in public. So yeah, and then I had to figure out like who, what. But yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise.
I loved your that entire episode.
Why is that?
Because you're just like, they didn't fucking remember my birthday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then surprise.
And Ben I think it was just you and Ben.
Yeah, it was just me and Ben.
And Ben's trying to like hide the fact that it's
hide the fact that you actually remembered.
Yeah.
God.
And he's like, oh yeah, sorry man, we did forget. Oh,
oh dear. And I guess it's even funnier because I usually do the birthday promos on our socials.
Yeah, that was really funny.
2017, I deliberately missed mine.
Oh really?
Yeah. And obviously I didn't escape it this year. And then what happened was the promo image went up. Brendan and I did it at the same time.
You did it at like the exact same time.
Same minute. And that was, and again, I think I raised this with Brendan. We are too similar. We are like the same person, but like 7 years apart.
And obviously Brandon is a little more out there.
Yeah, I mean like, alternate universe. It honestly, it really could be, some sort of weird alternate universe shit. But yeah, that threw me off. We had a good laugh about the fact that we actually uploaded to both platforms
at the same time. Yeah.
My God. Oh dear. I guess we should start wrapping up. So, before we move on to socials, is there anything that you can sort of take away from this little Q&A session? Like anything that you've learned about yourself or yeah, any sort of thing like that?
I need to talk to you guys a bit more. Find the time in my day to actually just be present.
Mm-hmm.
And stop being such a stubborn son of a bitch.
That's what your 2019 goal is for. Finding yourself.
Finding myself.
Fair enough,
Jesus. If I don't find myself in 2019, I will be blaming this podcast.
Yeah, sure you will. Oh boy. So yeah, we're gonna do a quick round of socials. So Anastasia, where can people find you if they want to find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Anastasia Moen. I don't post anything, but I'm there.
I mean, you can look through timelines and stuff, but you never
know. I might end up posting, something.
Oh yeah, it is summer after all. Yeah, content comes few and far between sometimes.
I like tweets sometimes.
True.
I've never retweeted, but I will like a tweet.
Oh boy. And you can find me basically everywhere as Abangpinoy, ABANGPINOY. If you want to find out the other social for the Great Mates, you're just gonna have to listen to their episode or go and listen to our old episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, basically everywhere you can sub to a podcast. You'll find us. Yeah, Google it. Bing it.
Just
Yahoo
Bing
it.
it. Just search history.
Bing it. Alexa, find Great Mates Podcast, because I know people actually use Alexa to listen to our podcast.
Really?
And
I can't even
Amazon
fathom
Echo
the
as
concept
well.
of using an Alexa or something.
You know what is the weirdest device that I've seen come up? Apple Watch.
Like, talking to it to...
I don't know. The insight it's telling me someone is listening through their Apple Watch.
Oh.
Which is, you know, that's amazing. And so very interesting. But yeah, if you want to find us, you can do so. Basically,
listen to
on
us on
anywhere
your
you can,
Apple Watch.
you know, or on Android Auto, in your car. I really don't know how I feel about people listening to our podcast in the car, because given the amount of swearing and the topics that we talk about.
Oh, it's always good fun on those bus commutes.
Why is that? When you laugh hysterically?
Yeah, I remember one. I don't remember what the context was, but it was Ben, Olivia, and Brandon, I think, which is a good combination already.
Oh yeah, that is like a swirling firestorm of alcohol.
So much. And I just lost it on the bus once.
Oh my god. Did people look at you and, what's this bitch doing?
That and also listening to you bitch about us forgetting your birthday.
Oh my god, of course. Oh dear. If you want to leave us a rating and review, do it on iTunes. Share us to your friends.
But give us
five
nothing
stars.
less than 5 stars.
Yes, because, we love the validation, and 5 stars is a little bit easier to split between 7 people.
Are you not entertained?
You have to be entertained. Dear. Great Mates socials, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram as Great Mates Podcast, GR8 M8S Podcast. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. So, thank you, Anastasia, for joining me on this little Q&A episode.
Thank you. It is a PSA for mental health, so we didn't just waste an hour for you to not seek help.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So, thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you guys on another episode of this mini-series, or on our old episodes on the rest of summer. And season 3 is coming soon, so bye!